Hi there. How are you feeling? Sleepy? Excited? Well, the next part is gonna be emotional because I'm about to share something that's personal for me and have changed my life. And today, I want you to experience it. I want to begin with this question. Can we go back in time? Scientifically, not really, right? But what if I tell you we can revisit our past, not to rewrite it, but to understand and repackage our memories so that we can finally move on with our adult life? My name is Gaston Pong. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer from Malaysia. I write songs for myself as an artist and for people who are way cooler than me. They have millions of eyes watching them every day. You must be curious, Gaston. You work with rappers, pop stars, boy band, and girl groups. How are they actually like in person? The real talk, underneath that spotlight, they're just as human as us. And often many of them are driven by this unfinished story to tell. Being their songwriter means I've been writing all these stories again and again. And if there's one thing that I think I'm getting better is introspection. In these 10 years of my songwriting life, I realized number one, being a good songwriter, number one could be talent. But what comes second should be vulnerability, because not all people can sit there and go through those honest reflections and sometimes painful ones and put it out in a song, right? Well, I know it sounds scary to go back in time, but if music could bring us back to meet the parts of us ourselves that's waiting to be healed, it could also help us move forward with time. And today I want to show you what happens if you dare to go back in time. And if you're ready, can we take a deep breath together? Let's go on this journey of music, expression, memories, and healing. So recently, there's this AI-generated image trend where you use your younger self, a photo of your younger self and your current self, and generate image together like this, right? Well, this is mine. And this trend got me thinking about this question. What would I do if I could meet my younger self again? And my answer is simple. I would give them the biggest hug. I realized in my whole career, in my adult life, I'm always addicted and chained with this highs and thrills in my career. When is my next opportunity? And being a songwriter specifically, when is my K-pop song placement? A song that will hit the Billboard chart or working with a movie soundtrack. And when all of those things have become reality, I still catch myself asking, what's next? That's when I realized it's good to have motivation being working adults in our career, right? But if that drive doesn't come from love, it comes from anxiety, I realized mine was like that, and it came from a brokenness deep within. Can we agree that being adults is so easy to forget how we ever looked like when we were younger if we don't have a photo, right? And now I want to introduce someone I almost forgotten, and his name is Awu. When I picture Awu, this is me, my younger self, and that was his nickname. When I picture him, he was sitting on this thin tilam bed that I had back in my hometown above a beauty parlor my mom ran. My mom was the sweetest to actually refurbish the storeroom to be my room, but back then I was too young to understand it, and I can't help to compare it with my sibling who has the master bedroom. And it was the first time I felt not chosen and unworthy of love. And that was the exact same room I came home after being picked on by my classmates and sometimes even by my teachers, who made me feel invisible in class. And you must be thinking, I'm 28 years old. Yeah, but you already moved on, right? Because time heals. What I realized, if you don't deal with it, you're just building me. I just built bigger version of these rooms for me to even store even more complicated, unprocessed feelings in my adult life. And it took me years, 20 over years, to finally come home to those rooms. And before I go on with the story, I want to see a quick show of hands. Has any one of you ever spoke back to an adult, the classic, shut up, diam lah, cing cing lah, ma sa atem bola dia ma. Yeah, anyone? Yeah, relatable, right? We all did that. But have you ever felt like punching someone in the face? Well, you don't need to expose yourself. Here's a story about it. I punched someone in the face when I did hypnotherapy last year. Why hypnotherapy? I did hypnotherapy because there was this unexplainable heaviness on my shoulders, and there was this low energy and confidence every time, and I feel I'm on the verge of breaking. I just can't explain why I'm so shaky and not grounded, even my career is doing all right. My sister and I have this thing where we gift each other something thoughtful every year, and she asked me, what do you want for your 27th birthday? I was like, hypnotherapy. She was like, whoa, this is specific. I said, yeah, I've been considering it, but I've been avoiding it because it sounds so scary to actually go back into an unknown realm and space being controlled by someone's voice. Scary, right? Nah, not a chance I'm gonna do that. Fast forward to me at the therapist room. I still did it. When I was there, the therapist made it easy. She talked and asked some questions to know my backstory. And then she suggested, can I bring you back to the first time you felt anxious in your life? And when she snapped, I was suddenly 10 years old. This time, I will grown taller, but he's chubbier and he's confused and nervous. I traveled back in time in the full classroom of classmates, and I was asked to stand up by my teacher, and she said this to my face: if you continue to eat like that, you're gonna die of a heart attack. Wow, so funny, right? Exactly. All my whole classroom, everyone was laughing, but I didn't. I froze because I was 10 years old, and I didn't know how to process humiliation. I didn't have the word for it, now I call it anger. And when my therapist told me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to stand up for myself. And I did. I punched her in the face in the therapy. Don't get me, I'm not a violent person. But I realized healing takes confrontation. And that relief, that instant relief was real. That's when I realized healing doesn't always mean moving forward with life, but going back in time and be the voice that your younger self never had. Now, I want to invite you to this short exercise that changed me. There's no obligation, but if you feel like to, I want to guide you to revisit the room that raised you. If you're ready, can we take a deep breath in? And exhale as we close our eyes. I want you to be seated in a comfortable position where you can drop your shoulders and feel both of your feet glued on the ground. Now, soften your face, feel the whole body sinking deep the ground. Now picture a ring of light above your head. It's not just any other light, it's warm, and it's your inner wisdom has been there through it all with you. The light starts moving to the unknown. It can't help, you're so curious. Where are you heading to, light? And you start chasing after it. The light starts speeding up really quickly through the tunnel of time. It was so fast, you feel the speed and the acceleration, but it felt safe. Because your wisdom is guiding you through it all. And at the end of the tunnel, you see somewhere familiar. Your childhood house. Now, surprisingly, you can still remember the colors of the wall, the scent of the house, and in your right hand, you can feel it, something round. That's the texture of your doorknob of your childhood bedroom. Holding the doorknob, you're in front of your bedroom, and across that door is the younger self of you, sitting on the bed alone. We don't just go in and yet we ask for permission. Hey, baby, call them by the childhood name. Hey, baby name, can I come in and see you? Well, take a deep breath. Now let's get courage and twist open the door. All you see is younger self, you sitting on the bed, and all you want to do right now is give them a biggest hug. Now, hug yourself. Squeeze them. Squeeze the younger self to your chest if you want to, and say this: baby, it took me some time, but I'm back now. You're not alone. Tell me how you feel. Are you anxious, nervous, or sad? Focus on their voice. And now slowly open your eyes. You can open your eyes now. Wow. We just listened to our inner voice for the very first time today. And what is something you can have done differently this week to tell them, I never left you? And here are some things I've done for Awu. I realized spending more time with Awu in my adult life makes me realize every part of my adulthood has been about healing him. Back then, this was the room that he came home to, a storeroom. And last year, I bought my own house. Wow, was magical. Decorating a house, choosing the color of the walls, and choosing what furniture and where to place it, every part was healing the parts of me that felt I do not deserve a room, and now I can proudly say I'm worthy of a safe space. Back then, I was actually a top performer. At 2 years old, I was put into costumes. One second I'm the sailor man, the next second I'm a kung fu hee-ha. I didn't like it. I didn't like how the fabric was scratching my skin, but I didn't have a choice, but now I do. Fashion has opened doors for me as when I choose what I want to wear and be my own stylist. I was put on magazine covers, campaigns to work on, and even travel the world for fashion weeks. That's when I realized fashion has been a power for me. Back then, I was told I must hit the notes perfectly in the song, and if I don't, I may get punished. But now it's all over. I can choose the songs, what I want to say, exactly Awu's words in the lyrics I write, and picking a genre and lock, not some stupid festive songs that adults ask me to sing. And this is when I realized healing comes when you do things differently in your adult life. We don't just stop by what we are aware, what are the traumas. We move on with our lives. People often ask me the question, Gaston, you're a songwriter. You should teach me how to express, get your emotions in your art. How to turn that. Such a vague, abstract process, right? But don't worry. Here's a 5-step framework that I've come out that I want you to try it at home to express yourself and heal. Step 1 is to catch the feeling. Just like what we did, sit with your inner child because your emotions don't come from anywhere. They are echoes of your trauma. Now, when you catch those feelings, don't just let go, let it flow. Do you realize there's this word motion in the word emotion? Because our feelings deserve somewhere else to live outside of our body through expression. Be it songwriting, journaling, singing, or even dancing, anything. It doesn't need to be perfect. The key is to move without looking yourself with the eyes of a perfectionist. With all the messy ideas in hand, now you can shape it. Now pick a medium. Is it poetry? Is it song? Is it a dance? Is it an art? Painting? Now this is the part that I don't like the most because it takes days, weeks, and even years to refine and polish it. And finally, one day you are proud to call it art. You may want to release it. But even if you don't, when you look at your art, you feel hurt and something beautiful happens. This part of your brain called amygdala calms down the noise and where your prefrontal activates and you get clarity. When you get clarity, you have a sense of redirection in life. And what healing looks like for me is that finally I can look at a painting and say, hey, you were once something painful inside me, but now you're just another wall art hanging in my living room. You're still with me in my house, but I can move on. Finally, I can move on with my life now. And that's exactly how I wrote my first song. Back in 2015, I was a college student, and I scored straight 4.0, straight A's. And I posted it on social media because I wanted my families and friends to be proud because I left my hometown for it, right? But I didn't get any congratulations. All I got was a phone call. We are not proud of you. You don't deserve this. And when I got the call from my classmate, my whole world crumbled because study was my everything. Going back to the classroom felt different. I get stares, I get ignored, I wasn't invited to the canteen, and day by day, it spiraled into mild depression. And when my sister saw me break down, I told her this, I'm the worst musician you can ever find. And she said, why would you say that? In my eyes, you are my perfectly talented brother. And the very same night, I went to the balcony that has carried all my darkest thoughts, and I hummed this melody. Da 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 da. And instantly, I feel like darkness loses its grip on me. And I wrote words that matched my feeling, and those words become the lyrics to my debut song, Strong Heart. Because even when I can't breathe on, I still have this strong beating heart. And when the song was out, I get messages telling me, Gaston, I feel seen, and your song saved me. Years later, this year actually, I wrote a song called Only Blue. Have you ever loved someone with bloodline but not by heart? That was my relationship with my father. I meet my father once a year, and there was a language barrier. He spoke English and I didn't. And when I could speak English, he lost his ability of speech. When the nights feel so long and the world's moving on, your shadow still lives in my head. And when those lyrics came out, I realized all those lost moments have someone to live on life. And I can finally say, Dad, I lost you. We may have lost our time together, but you're with me in another way in my song forever. That's when I realized, months of preparing this talk, I reflected and I realized maybe my career isn't about music. It was about being human. Today, we listen to our inner child's voice for the very first time. And maybe healing doesn't mean leaving away, moving forward from them, but getting closer and having a better relationship with your younger self. And one day you can finally say, hey, you don't need to be in the darkness anymore. You can live on with me, with my life now. And before I go, I have one last question for you to reflect. I want you to hold dearly. What is the love letter still waiting to be written to the child inside of you? Let's think about it. Thank you.